everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Helen and today I thought I would do a birthday book haul. I got a book from my parents, I got some book related gifts from a friend, I won a book on Twitter and it came the day before my birthday, and then I went on a little birthday book shopping spree to Waterstones and basically it was a steal what I got for the money, so I will show you those. So I might as well get started. So from my lovely friend Yvonne, who I used to work with at the library, she sent me a couple of little bookish related gifts. So I got this little hedgehog which is made out of the pages of a book and then it's got my name on, and then the books are, it just says Jane Austen on the top and then Wind in the Willows. I can't see the other one, so how cute is that? So I keep that on my little bookshelf up there. Then that also comes with just a little message on it which I keep as a bookmark. I don't think it was meant as a bookmark, but I've got this little bloke which just says, Helen, have a fantastic birthday, love and hugs, Yvonne. So I keep that as a little bookmark now, so he just pops over the top of any book I read. And then she also got me this bookmark which I'm using in my current read, which is the Cozy Cat Society, which I'm reading as my first book for, no, not my first book, my second book for Platonicathon for Love of a Pet. And it's just this H bookmark that just goes over the top of the pages there. So thank you, Yvonne, that was lovely. She also got me what's the word, a Hungry Caterpillar birthday card, but I won't show it here. I might show it on a future video because that would mean me getting up and making effort. So from my mum and dad, my dad picked out this book, Amazing Grace Adams, Is This the Worst Day of Her Life by Fran Littlewood. So it's I had seen this in Asda just browsing once. I was when I was shopping one day, didn't pick it up and look, and then other than that I hadn't really heard anything. So it just says, once Grace Adams was poised for great things, now she barely attracts a second glance as she strides down the street carrying her daughter's 16th birthday cake. But behind the scenes, Grace's life is in free fall. Her husband is divorcing her, her daughter has banned her from a birthday party, and Grace has just abandoned her car in bumper-to-bumper traffic because Grace Adams has finally had enough. She's sick of being overlooked and underappreciated, and she's particularly tired of being polite. She's about to set off on a journey to rediscover who she is and confront the secrets that has torn her family apart. What is that secret? You're about to find out. But I also noticed that it says Unforgettable by Leanne Moriarty, who I've read from before and liked, and I Devoured It by Paula Hawkins, and I can't remember the name of her first book. Is it something about the water, Into the Water or something like that? I really enjoyed that one, so yeah, I think that could be promising. So that was from my mum and dad. I've gone out of order. This was the one I got just the day before my birthday. I won it on Twitter. It's called Christ on a Bike by Orla Owen. It says, Cerys receives an unexpected inheritance, but there are rules attached. 3 simple rules that must be followed. As she settles into a new life, she begins to feel trapped. The past is ever present. She convinces herself that the villagers are watching her, and is desperate to control her own future. She tries to break free. And it says, Black Mirror meets Tales of the Unexpected with shades of Shirley Jackson. So that whole inheritance thing, I enjoyed the inheritance games, and I feel like having to follow certain rules in order to get the inheritance is a similar vibe to that. So I think this might just be a grown-up version of that. So yes, I will keep you posted on that one. Then I went to Waterstones and I spent £18.48. Well, £19, but I had 52p on a random card which I give in, so £18.48, and the cost of the books that I got, if you looked at the retail price, it should have been £73.95. So yes, I am very happy with over £50 worth of savings. So I will show you what I've been into Waterstones before and been into the clearance section. It's just been a couple of pound off here and there. For some reason this sale was like, books were like £3 or £5, and we're talking hardbacks. So and some of these hardbacks should have been like £17.99, £16.99. So yeah, it was pretty good. So if you live anywhere in the Warrington area and you go to the Grandad Cade Shopping Centre, if that's clearance is still on, there were other books I could have picked, but I was good and stuck to 5. So the first one was, this one was for £3. It's by Ian Sterling, who's a comedian in the UK. I believe he also does the voiceover for Love Island. I don't watch that, so but yeah, it's called Not ready to adult, I'll let you read that yourself. A totally ill-informed guide to life. It says, comedian Ian Sterling knows a lot about effing up and he's ready to share. From the brilliant funny voice behind the BAFTA-winning smash hit Love Island comes a scrutinising dissection of millennial life, giving the finger to adulthood, whatever that means along the way. Throughout life, millennials have been taught that they are perfect and should live a perfect life. They've been told whatever happens, don't screw up. So is it any wonder they have acquired an image of being self-obsessed, work-shy, mollycoddled egomaniacs? Ian argues that beneath this facade is a misunderstood generation with a crippling fear of failure, and it's time for this to change. So I thought for £3, that sounds quite interesting, and I will see what he comes up with. Then I got this one for £3, which was The Enigma of Garlic by Alexander McCall Smith. It's one of the 44 Scotland Street novels. It's a series, but I think we're up to a lot. I think that's a big series, so I'm hoping that they can be read standalone, because I might have read the first one, but I'm not 100%. So yeah, well, I'm hoping it is. I'm going to look online, but I would imagine with how long I believe this series is in terms of books, that I should be okay. So it says, it's the most anticipated event of the decade. Big Lou and Fat Bob's wedding, and everyone is invited. But can it all be too good to be true? Will Big Lou find the happiness she so richly deserves? The relative peace and tranquility of 44 Scotland Street is about to be disrupted. Irene is set to return for a 2-month stay, consigning Bertie to a summer camp to remove any bourgeoisie expectations, and the consequence of Stuart's online dating algorithm leads to an unexpected rendezvous. Can a person really change, even after being struck by lightning? Bruce's metamorphosis and newfound outlook on life is put to the test as he prepares to leave his creature comforts for the monastic simplicity of Pluscarden Abbey. His house sitter, meanwhile, gets a little too comfortable in his new life and discovers that the talented Bruce Anderson's shoes are all too easy to slip into. With great taste comes great responsibility. I'm thinking some of those characters are running through the stories, so I will look and see if I have to. Imagine if I have to go back to the very first one and read through all those. We will see. Next is a book of poetry, which is unusual for me, but I like the sound of this one. This was £5. It's called She Will Soar by Anna Sampson. It says, bright, brave poems of freedom by women. It says, She Will Soar is an uplifting collection of bright, brave poems about freedom written by women. From the ancient world right up to the present day, it includes poems on wanderlust, travel, daydreams, flights of fancy, escaping into books, tranquility, courage, hope and resilience. From frustrated housewives to passionate activists, from servants and suffragettes to some of today's most gifted writers, here is a bold choir of voices demanding independence and celebrating their hard-won power. Immerse yourselves in the poems by Caroline Duffy, which was who I studied at GCSE English, Christina Rossetti, Stevie Smith, Sarah Crossan, Emily Dickinson, Selena Godden, Mary Jean Chan, Charlie Cox, Nikita Gill, Fiona Benson, Holly McNeish and Grace Nichols, to name but a few. So, 1, I liked the idea of poems by strong women. 2, I studied Carol Ann Duffy, and although I had quite a complicated relationship with those poems at the time, I liked the idea of the topics that it mentioned about travel and escaping into books, activists and housewives. So I really do want to give it a go. I think it's going to be one of them that I can just dip into. I don't think I'm going to sit and read the whole thing in one go. So yeah, I surprised myself with a poetry book. Next is the one that I was most excited to find on there. I think this one was £3 because it's just got a rip in the back. I'm a one-time reader. Once I've read this, I will just get rid. So the fact that it's ripped, to me, no bother at all. But it's The Marriage Act by John Mars. I love him as a writer. I've read quite a few. They are quite disturbing. One, I had to give up 75% of the way because I just found it too much to go on. But this is set in the same world as The One, which I really enjoyed, and then got Andy to watch the Netflix series with me. So it's set in the same world, but I don't think it's a follow-on from it. It's just set in the same time. So it says, what if marriage was the law? Dare you disobey? Britain, the near future, a right-wing government believes it has the answer to society's ills, the Sanctity of Marriage Act, which actively encourages marriage as the norm, punishing those who choose to remain single. But 4 couples are about to discover just how impossible relationships can be when the government is monitoring every aspect of our personal lives, surveying every word, every minor disagreement, and will use every tool in its arsenal to ensure everyone will love, honour and obey. So another thriller. I recently haven't been reading thrillers, like I say. I'm now up to the Cozy Cat Society, which is really tame read, and actually it's taken me a long time to get through it, so I think the next one I read will have to be something with a bit more edge or spice or something to it. So I am excited to get to this one. So yeah, £3 for a book that should have been £16.99. I'm really pleased with that. And then finally I got Devotion by Hannah Kent. I read another book by Hannah Kent. Can I remember the name of it? No, I can't. But I read it for Eurovision-a-thon one year, and I can't even remember what country it was set in. But it was a book that I wouldn't have picked up for myself based on the blurb. It was quite a difficult read. It was basically somebody who was on the equivalent of death row, like she was going to be killed in her country for whatever she'd done. And so it was never something I would have read, but I was glad I did because I really found it quite thought-provoking, and just it really hit hard, but it was worth the read. So I can't remember if this is, I'll find out in a minute, set in another country, but I think I had this one pinned for the next Eurovision-a-thon, which actually isn't that far away, April. So 2 months I will be reading it, so that's good as well, because I'm trying to get ones off my shelf that I pick up. So yeah, it shouldn't be waiting there too long. But it says 1836 Prussia. Okay, maybe. Oh yeah, there's other countries mentioned, so that's fine. Burial Rites was the other book that I read. Han is nearly 15, and the domestic world of womanhood is quickly closing in on her. A child of nature, she yearns instead for the rush of the river, the wind dancing around her. Han finds little comfort in the local girls, and friendships doesn't come easily until she meets Thea, and she finds in her a kindred spirit and finally acceptance. Han's family are old Lutherans, and in her small village hushed worship is done secretly. This is a community under threat. But when they are granted safe passage to Australia, so I thought I could read this for Australia, the community rejoices. At last a place they can pray without fear, a permanent home, freedom. It's a promise of freedom that will have devastating consequences for Han and Thea, but on that long and brutal journey, their bond proves too strong for even nature to break. So I obviously loved the sprayed edges. I think it's just white underneath. So you've got, it goes like that, and then it's just white underneath. So again, this one was a bit ripped at the back, so a bit damaged at the top. So I think that's why this was £5 and it should have been £14.99. So that is my birthday book haul. I hope you saw something there that you might fancy giving a go as well. I will try my best to do a wrap up each month now. I'm shortly going to film my January wrap up, so we will see how we go. But thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.